name is Marlon,
And I'm James.
and this is Trash Talk and Tall Tales. Make sure you check out our Spotify, and we upload on YouTube as well every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. James, who you have a topic for us?
Yeah, I got a topic for us, Marlon. What we're going to talk about today is men's mental health. This is June is men's mental health awareness.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd go ahead and dive right in it. And first of all, I want to say every man out there who's going to a job that they hate just to provide for their family, I see you. Every man that's in court fighting to see his kids, I see you. Every man that's given his all to a relationship and it seems like it's not reciprocated on the other end, I see you. I just want you to know that we do see you and we do support you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does all that entail as far as men's mental health? Does that mean that they should go talk to a therapist?
If needed. One thing about men that I've noticed, we have smaller social circles than women usually. So a lot of times we're in isolation. A lot of times we're by ourselves when we go through things, and we need to change that really to do something different to where we can actually feel comfortable talking about our feelings and have that support that we do see on that women's side of the equation.
Well, I think it's sometimes self-isolation. I do know that men are less likely to see a therapist because there's a stigma behind it all, thinking that it shows weakness. When in actuality, I think it shows strength.
Yeah, as a man, it seems like whenever you talk about your feelings or you go deep into your inner self, a lot of times that is perceived as being soft. Sometimes as men, like I said, we like to carry the burden for everybody, and we actually don't need to be everything to everybody. We have to take some time out for ourselves. And one thing I do want to say is, if you're a guy, you're in a relationship or whatnot, and you've done all the things that you need to do for that week, you shouldn't have any pushback whatsoever. If you want to get up in that morning or on that morning that you've done everything and you got everything taken care of, and you want to crack open a beer at 9 o'clock and day drink a little bit, if that's the way that you can cope with things, it's what you need to do, as long as you're not hurting or harming anybody. If you need to, if you need to, sometimes you do have those rough weeks. I'm not here to judge anybody when it comes to that. And a lot of times I know there is a little bit, sometimes a stigma when it comes to gaming. A lot of times your significant other is really hard pressed on getting you not to game as much. And I feel like, hey, if you've done all the things, you've taken care of things, and you want to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and play till midnight that night, you should be able to do that. And you shouldn't have to feel ashamed or less of a man for doing something that takes care of your mental health, because gaming, I believe, is a way that men, yes, exactly. It's an escape. It's a way that we deal with the outside world. It's comfort to us. And some of us have been doing it since we've been,
Kids.
Little boys. Yeah. So it's just something that comes, second nature to us, but sometimes when you get in these relationships, you're so busy trying to do what your partner wants and making sure that they're happy that you kind of neglect yourself, and you can lose yourself in relationships if you continue to do that.
But I do have one question. Why did they pick a month for men's mental health? Is there a woman's mental health month?
That's a good question, Marlon. I actually do not know.
That's what I'm saying. So if it's driving, if June is men's mental health month, I just wanted to know what's the driving factor in all this?
Yeah, we'd have to talk to the people who came up with it, because it seems like there's a month for everything now, and there's contrasting months that have, double months, basically, where somebody is saying it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It might be month or whatever you want to call it. So it's, I think it just depends on the organization that designates that time for that.
Okay. I know a lot of craziness is going on in the world right now. We all need some good mental health.
For sure. And I've noticed too, like burnout happens a lot too. If you think about the stress that comes with being the head of a family, being the head of the household, being the breadwinner, primarily, in most relationships. That's a really heavy burden to carry. And a lot of people don't understand what weight that has on you mentally, because you realize everything's on you. If anything goes wrong, they're going to look to you for guidance. And you definitely want to make sure you're guiding people in the right direction. But like I said, with great responsibility comes, I forget that saying now. I'm so stressed, I forget that saying. But heavy is the person who wears the crown then.
Do you remember where it came from, that saying?
No clue. No clue. But let's just say heavy is the head who wears the crown. How about that?
Yeah, I think the saying is with great responsibility comes great. No, I can't remember.
Whoa.
I know it's Spider-Man.
Is that Spider-Man? Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely Spider-Man.
Well, guys, we all knew what we meant. So there's no anything lost in translation here, so we can move on, I guess. But Marlon, do you ever think about the pressures that you see from day to day when it comes to, just being a man?
To be honest, no, not really. I deal with, just regular amounts of stress, but it's nothing overpowering as to where I feel as though I need to go talk to someone. Now, I do on occasion go, to a therapist or whatever, but it's not that I'm feeling crushing pressure or anything. I mainly think, I've sat here and thought about it for a second. I mainly think because I really don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. Men are the majority of killers. Men are the majority of people who kill their families. Just recently, we found out about that guy who killed his, I guess I can't say that word, killed, but his daughters. And he's still on the lam right now. So I'm guessing that's what's driving it. It's just people aren't handling their stress as they should.
And as we get older, we realize that stress kind of increases sometimes. Like I said, whenever you're younger and you're trying to either climb the ladder, get your career and finances right, that comes with a certain amount of stress. And whenever you go through that, a lot of times, like I said, we're everything to everybody. We're, if you have a family, you're the head of the household, you're a son, you're a father, you're a brother. And sometimes, like, everybody depends on you, it seems like, for everything. And I think that pressure sometimes gets to people. It's a hard thing to deal with. I'm not saying women don't have the same kind of pressures or whatnot. I'm not saying that at all. But our pressure is different. In society, we're supposed to act a certain way. We're not supposed to, really relay any emotion whatsoever to any kind of outside stimuli that we have. And I think whenever you bottle those emotions up, you're looking at a powder keg situation. You may not realize that's what you're doing, but if you don't get out there and talk about your feelings to somebody you have confidence in, a lot of times the pressure can just keep building and building and building until one day you explode.
Pressure bursts pipes. Yep. Most definitely. And it's with great power comes great responsibility.
Nice.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that you're taking this seriously. I'm sure a lot of people don't. But I would suggest, I've always been an advocate of people going and talking to someone. I think that's one of the healthiest things you can do aside from going to your regular doctor.
Agreed. And I think sometimes too, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of this is attributed to being in a relationship. A lot of times a man placates to what his partner wants. He's trying to make her happy. And maybe sometimes
I think that goes both ways.
I don't know. Whenever you go out on a date, are you going to a place that you want to eat, or are you going to a place that you think she wants to eat?
I think both, 50-50. Absolutely.
I don't think so. If you're really trying to sit out there and apply pressure, you're going to try to go somewhere you think she likes.
What do you mean by apply pressure?
When I say apply pressure, I mean actually doing things to further the relationship.
Got you. So a
So
healthy
you're
relationship
you're
to promote a
planning
healthy
dates.
relationship.
You're planning dates, or you're planning outings or whatnot. Most of the time, you're going to try to do what she wants from my perspective.
Okay, let's not sway, but I still feel as though it's, you know, both partners in a relationship, you know, try to promote a healthy relationship. You know, both partners want happiness in the relationship, but we're not talking about relationships right now.
We're talking about I'm talking about mainly in the early stages. In the early stages of getting to know someone, you're going to kind of placate a little bit to what they actually want to do.
But how does that do with mental health, though?
Because you're starting to lose yourself. Then you're doing things to further a relationship in whatever that person wants to do, not necessarily what you want to do. Because I'm gonna tell you, most guys, we can go to McDonald's, share a bucket of fries, and be fine. But we know when we're going on a date, more than likely, I'm not saying every single person, more than likely, that's not going to cut it.
Okay. All right.
So it's just, it's the part of the process. It starts chipping away at you little by little. And sometimes it snowballs into an avalanche, and you really didn't even see it coming because it happens little by little.
Now, that part I'll agree with as far as pressure is concerned.
Yeah. And if you think about it too, like a lot of times when we're in those relationships, our friend group, we don't hang out with the guys anymore for the most part. Not saying we don't all the time, but that like if we were hanging out with them every weekend, that kind of dies down. And then we get into a routine of we're with this person most of the time, or every once in a while we might see those guys that we usually talk to and hang out with. But most of your time is consumed with that other person. So it's good, even on both sides, really, to still maintain a friend group. You can always bring your partner into those friend groups where you can, break bread together and whatnot. But I think a lot of times we do a little bit of like you said, self-isolation when it comes to those relationships, and especially the newness of it all. We're trying to do all the right things. Like you said, we're putting our representative out there, and we're trying to maintain something that we want to have later in life.
Okay. All right. So basically what you're saying is that you should open up to your friends, hoping they won't judge you.
Yeah. I mean, a true friend is not going to judge you. Like, we have conversations off camera, Marlon, all the time. And that's one of the things, like, I appreciate about you is you always shoot it straight with me. Like, I might be seeing things in one perspective, and you'll come with another perspective that I've never even thought of, or I didn't think that much about.
Because I'm wiser than you, brother. I'm wiser than you.
Well, I'm not going to say wiser. I'll say more experienced.
Okay. I'll take that. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you have a real friend, they're going to alert you to things that you're doing that can send you in a spiral. And you just need to maintain those relationships as well. And you need to do things that you like to do. If you want to hang out on the weekend and, fire up that game for 12, 15 hours, you should be able to do that. And you should have a partner who is accepting of that. But we do see, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of times what happens with that is, let's say you do get to play on the game or whatnot, and get is such a terrible word, but we're just going to use it for now. Let's just say you do get to get on the game. Sometimes that's when your significant other plans other things. They might go out with their friends or whatnot. And I'm not saying you have to be sitting right beside this person while they're gaming, but if y'all are in the same vicinity, I think that makes a big difference. That shows effort and interest in what your partner's
That's
doing.
what I'm saying. That's why you get two controllers. You get two controllers.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always common ground. Always common ground if somebody wants to meet you on that common ground. But sometimes that doesn't happen. And a lot of times as guys, we hold on. I think we hold on to relationships a little bit longer than women. I think our hearts are made a little bit
You mean
differently.
emotionally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I just think that we have to get to a place in society where you hanging out with your boys, not a big deal. You playing on that game, not a big deal. If you want one day a week where you don't do anything at all and you just recuperate from the week. Shouldn't be a big deal. Like I said, there's 4 weeks in a month usually. That's 2 weekends for one person and 2 weekends for the other person. That's what I feel.
Give and take, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
I'm
compromise.
I'm sure women wouldn't mind if guys got on the game every now and then. You know, if it's just something they enjoy doing, and it helps relieve his stress. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Oh, yeah. I think that sometimes as you get older, there's a stigma behind it. I've heard women talk about men on these games and whatnot. And I'm just saying that may not be a good partner for you. If you got to change something about yourself that you have done for years, maybe that person's not for you, because your partner should be able to understand you, should be able to encourage you. They would want you to be your best self, and they would want you to be a whole person in that relationship, not just there for your partner's needs. Your needs are also getting met as well. And one of those, like I said, those outlets is that game. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. You got anything else for us?
No, I think that's it. I appreciate you. We upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube, and we also upload on Spotify. Please like, comment, subscribe. And this has been Trash Talk and Tall Tales. My name is James.
And my name is Marlon.
Thank you.